¿Qué hola un tiburón?
From Cafeteria Film Studios in Miami, Florida, Phresh presents Que Bola, where we talk to various movers and hustlers in South Florida who are popping off and succeeding, and in the process, how they're influencing the 305 culture. My name is Darwin Figueroa, and I am your host. I hope you enjoy this, and let's get into it, alright? Listo. In this episode of Que Bola, we sat down with two Miami locals. Artist Disem, who's merging portrait design and graffiti in a fresh new approach to contemporary art, and Barber Manuel, an immigrant from Guatemala who's using his barbery skills to carve out a future for him and his family here in South Florida. Hope you guys enjoy this. We're in the shop with Disem and Manuel. Que Bola, episode 2. I hope you guys enjoy this. Disem, where you from? And what's your hustle, bro?
Miami representative, background from kind of all over. You know, my mother's Colombian, father Italian roots. And I'm just Miami as fuck. As Miami as could get.
That's what's up. Yeah. You grew up in South Florida?
Yeah. Between here and Panama, I was kind of raised sort of between here and Panama. I did like 2 years in Panama, 2 years back, 2 years Panama, 2 years back Miami, and then I stayed in Miami. You know.
Did you go to high school in Miami?
Yeah.
What high school you went to?
Man, you'd rather keep it on the low. I'll say I'm from Kendall, though.
All right, from yeah. some mysterious high school in Kendall.
Yeah.
All right. And what's your hustle, bro? What's your number one hustle right now? What's your thing that you're working on?
I mean, as far as hustle goes, I'll say like the passion is art. It's just, you know, I do a couple other things like on the side. You know, everybody knows I stay moving and shit, but art from mural work to canvas work to like, you know, just, you know, all creative outlets, trying to like get them all out there.
All right. How'd you start off in the art world? What was your first thing in art? How long you been in it?
My whole life. It's weird, man. Like my mother and my father met at an art university in Panama.
Okay.
So as soon as I was born, I was pretty much just like born into an art university. You got me? Like,
all right.
My father was working there at the time. My mother was like a student.
All right.
So she ended up like teaching there too. So I just was born into an art school.
All right. So basically your whole life you were surrounded by art.
Yeah. My grandma is an artist from both sides. Like my grandma's an artist, my cousins are artists, mothers, everybody. Just surrounded by art.
All right. And that's how you that's how you went into the art world, and what made you stay in there? Like what was it that like said this is basically what I want to do? Because I know a lot of friends that were like grew up in musician household, and like their parents were all musicians, but at the end of the day, like they didn't really like that. You know what I'm saying? They went on another path. What was it that made you say this is something that I want to spend my life doing?
Bro, around like, I'm say it was 4th grade. I don't even know how old what are you like?
Okay.
10 years old, 11 years old, 4th grade.
4th grade is probably like 9-10 years old. Yeah.
So I mean, I used to draw and shit. You know, like Ninja Turtles, Street Fighter shit.
Okay.
Like whatever.
I used to do the you remember the S where you do the 3 lines and
Everybody
you connect.
did
That
shit.
was the only thing I could do. The S.
That shit. So fucking
growing up,
my cousin was into like graffiti, you know what I'm saying? And I looked up to him, you know, so from time to time he was the older cousin. People would be like, my parents would ask him to like babysit me or whatever the fuck, you know? And this guy, instead of wanting to stay home bored because it was like summer and shit, he'd be like, fuck, I'm gonna take my little cousin to paint with me.
Oh, okay.
So that was like my first like eye opener to like what graffiti was, you know? I remember like riding the metro rail and shit when I was younger, and seeing all the graffiti, that shit always caught my eye.
Yeah.
But when I realized like, yo, my cousin who I like looked up to at the time is doing this shit, then I was like, oh shit, dog, like I gotta get down with this, you know? And then he started teaching me and shit, like, you know, and I even remember like his homeboys would fucking, before he gave me a spray can, like he had some homeboys that like I guess were cooler than him at the time, because he was kind of like, yo, I don't give my little cousin a paint. That shit costs money or whatever. His homeboys didn't give a fuck. It'd be like, yo, here, go grab this can and go write on whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, okay, I get it.
So yeah, bro, as soon as I saw like graffiti, dog, that went from like seeing my mother's art, which like I was used to, like,
it was like classical art.
Yeah, very traditional classical like school art, you know? to the street shit. And yo, at that age, like I could just definitely relate more to the street shit, and I just ran with it.
I feel you. So the street type of art is the art that you focused on growing up.
I wouldn't call it street art, but I meant the street shit because it was what I was seeing in the street, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the graffiti was what got my attention as a young kid, you know. The bright colors, like especially back then, graffiti was very like kid oriented because I think it was more like kids doing it, you know. So so as a kid myself, like yo, you know, you see I don't know, fucking trying to think something that stood out to me at that time, like the Bo Day characters, which was like Miami guys would study rocking that kind of shit, you know. It's like I believe
very cartoonish.
Yeah, that kind of shit just appealed to me as a kid. So I just ran with the graffiti shit, you know, and then at that point, like I wanted to do my name as good as possible, and yo, throughout this whole time, like I stayed trying to do the art shit on the side. You got me? Like I always took, like whenever I had an elective in school, I always chose art or whatever. So even though I was concentrating on graffiti,
yeah,
I was still like trying to like keep my I don't know what you call it, like my book style art, you know, like my more fine art thing, like on point.
So you wanted to have kind of a good training in classical art, but at the same time you like the freestyle of graffiti. The fact that graffiti doesn't have particular rules.
No rules, no, yeah.
It was exactly. like you could do whatever you want here, and nobody's gonna chastise you because you know there is nobody to chastise you. There's nobody
no
like
rules, dog.
One of the biggest artists, the graffiti right now is Banksy, right? And Banksy internationally, his type of art, his type of graffiti is not something that I even would have called graffiti back in the day when I was growing up, because it was just like
graffiti. I mean, yeah, it's.
I mean, it's street art now. Exactly. Now they call it street art, but I'm saying at the time, anything that was on a wall with a spray paint was considered graffiti, and it wasn't considered street art. It wasn't something that you would be like, oh, this is something that you could put up in a museum or anything like that. Nowadays, it's funny because you touched on that. So you said like when you were growing up, graffiti was more like cartoonish. What would you classify graffiti as now? Like,
oh man, I don't think you can stick it in a box, man. I mean, as long as what I will tell you is, to call it graffiti, man, like to be a graffiti writer, you gotta have a balance of like illegal and legal shit, you know. There's a lot of people that have never done illegal shit, and they're out there calling themselves like, yo, writers, you know. That's bullshit. Like there's a lot of people that have done a lot of illegal shit and fucking have, you know, put themselves on the line for this art form. And now out of nowhere, like, yo, that it's trendy or whatever the fuck, people come out and they want to be like, yeah, I do graffiti too, but yo, you've only done 3 legal walls or 4 or whatever. If you've only done legal walls, dog, you're not a graffiti writer, dog. You might be an artist, you got me? Like,
yeah, straight artist.
No disrespect to the guys doing that, because yo, it's talent, it's effort, you know. Like yo, standing in front of a wall for fucking 5 hours with the sun beaming at you ain't no joke.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But there is a difference, you know, between like the people that put in that street work and the people, you know, like to me at least, you gotta have that balance, that like that legal illegal balance.
And with your legal work, what is it that you're working on right now? How is it that you're trying to bring that street vibe to your canvas work? How is that what is it that you're bringing from there?
Well, my whole shit right now is just about like contrast, you know, like what I just mentioned, like you gotta have a balance and a contrast, you know, like. So growing up, a lot of like my friends would make fun of my shit, like the artsy shit, you know. They'd be like, "Oh, you're on some artsy fartsy shit," because yo, I was painting canvases and like, you got me?
Yeah.
But a lot of like the other homies would fucking like my artist homies would see the street shit or not, like the family, you got me?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Yo, what are you doing? You're mad talented, like you're being a dumbass, like trying to get arrested for this bullshit." You got me? So I was always kind of stuck in this middle that was like a weird middle, like walk on, because like both sides were like, yo, fucking with me, you got me? Like one side was calling me an idiot, both sides were calling me idiots, you got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like what I'm doing now is just like finding that balance where like I feel I can do both, you know what I'm saying, like the fine art shit well, and I'm not saying I'm like fucking ill or nothing, but I'm really putting work in towards, you know what I'm saying, towards like doing ill work.
I've noticed that you've been bringing in more of I saw this one piece that you did recently, and it's a portrait, right? It was like a portrait. You've been incorporating like traditional portraits into your graffiti on the walls.
Yeah, that's part of like the balance I was talking about. So like with like graffiti, like one of the like, you know, I guess the staples, you know what I'm saying? Like one of the things that you gotta like, as far as like illegal shit goes, is like your throw ups, you got me? Like that's like you got your tags, your throw ups, your fill-ins, your pieces, and then it starts getting prettier and prettier as it goes up, you know? So what I'm doing now is trying to like find that balance within both things, you know, the graffiti and the fine art shit. Not to say that graffiti isn't fine art, but whatever the fuck. That's a whole other like debate.
It's like it's another vibe.
I'm just putting terms that like most people understand, because we could debate that like, yo, without a doubt, graffiti is a fucking solid art form.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm just trying to find that balance within like the street shit and like the fine art shit, you know? So like it's kind of like a balance and a contrast at the same time, because like those people that fucking like dislike graffiti but they like fine art, well, yo, I'm shoving it down their throat, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have to see that graffiti because it's by that fine art, and vice versa. Like those people that hate those like pretty paintings and portraits and they like the gritty shit, well, you got one next to the other and it's the same fucking guy doing it.
What is it about that contrast that attracts you to it? Because a lot of people aren't, like, you're one of the first people that I see trying to do like that contrast, because a lot of people are trying to get very good at doing one thing. Do you feel you've accomplished like the graffiti more than and now you're moving on to the traditional fine art?
No, at all, man. Like I think the day I think I've accomplished anything will be the day that like I quit doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like,
no, but I mean not accomplished. I mean like you've been able to master or really get to what it is that you're trying to portray with the graffiti. So now you're messing with the fine art, or is it something that is just like you're just trying to mesh them both together and master those two things together?
I just think skill-wise I've gotten more comfortable with like my, you know what I'm saying? Like with myself, where like I've started to experiment with different shit, you know, like back like I think I could have started doing this a couple of years earlier. Yeah. But due to like I said, homies I had around me, you know what I'm saying? That, like that would shit on like the whole like art shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I just, maybe I wasn't confident enough to like just throw it out there. Where now I care less what anybody says, bro. Like I'm out to get mine on that hustler shit.
I feel you.
So fucking.
So you're trying to like, cause I like it. I really do like it. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's original. You don't really see it a lot on the walls, especially in Wynwood. In Wynwood, you see everybody coming through now, putting up all different types of projects and throw ups and things like that. And like your portraits stand out from just the graffiti, which is crazy to say because there's so much graffiti now in Wynwood that it's like you need something like that to stand out. You know what I'm saying? And then when you break up the monotony of the cartoonish with the classical, it's like, damn, that shit looks dope as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, bro.
You probably did get ridiculed. I could assume that anybody that's doing one particular thing and then you're gonna try to put in something beautiful, like
not to say that the other stuff isn't beautiful,
but I mean you're trying to go more classical. You're gonna get clowned on. You know what I'm saying? It's like basically it's like trying to get a badass beat from a Mozart sample. You know what I'm saying? It's like what the fuck, dog. But you never know. Something like making a beat from Mozart and putting a little trap in it might be dope as fuck. You never know. You know what I'm saying?
There you go, man. Maybe you just picked up something from it. You gotta run with that.
That's true. You do some Mozart shit. So like in terms of influence, you said that your cousin influenced you when it came to like your graffiti type street art. What influenced you when it came to your artistical like classical art?
My mother.
Your mother,
without a doubt. Yeah, that's my biggest influence. Like
classically, what is it about her art?
Ladies that it's sad to say it, like, you know what I'm saying? I think because she had kids young, she had to raise us and shit, you know, like I think if my mother wouldn't have had us, she probably would have been like the illest I still think she's like the illest, nastiest artist, you know what I mean? But life happens, you know what I'm saying? You got to become a mother, you got to put your passions aside, whatever. But I'm still like constantly like, yo, trying to motivate her because it's never too late, dog. You know, if my mom starts painting right now, dog, like I think she'll burn like a whole lot of people out there. She's fucking ill.
Like that? Like she's like fire like that?
Ill. She's ill. Like I wouldn't want to go up against her, dog.
And she does like a lot of brushstroke type of paintings.
It's all like
oil and canvas.
Yeah, it's all oil. She sculpts. She fucks with everything, you know. Like I've even like she's painted a wall with us like maybe like 4 years ago. She went out, did a wall with us. Yeah.
Damn, that's what's up, dog.
Like spray paint and shit. Yeah.
Damn, that's what's up, dog. That's something that a lot of people wouldn't get to experience with their mother. Something like that they cherish so near and dear to them. You know, you do the art. I'm sure that she was that was a probably fun experience for her.
That was dope, man. That was with where it was with
yeah.
That was with Where and 3.
That's what's up, man.
Pretty dope. Yeah.
And are you what has art brought to you? Like what do you feel that you've gained from art from all your years in it? How long you been doing it, by the way?
Man, my whole life, like I said.
So basically, you would say like. Since you were a kid, since you were 10 years old, so like
since I was like a year old, bro. I was like, I don't remember this, but I've heard stories of like my mother teaching a class, like cause my uncle owned an art university out there in Panama, and my mother's working at it at the time. So I've heard like stories about my mother teaching a class. I was a year old and shit, and somebody bringing me to my mother like, yo, we can't take care of him right now. Like you gotta hold your kid while you're in this class. And there's like a live like nude model being painted. You know what I'm saying? I'm just there in the class like whatever.
I mean, when you're a little baby, it doesn't make a difference. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I've been around it my whole life, man.
What has you happiest with your hustle right now? With your art? What has you like smiling, making you say, damn, I want to keep, this is something that's bringing me joy. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, it's weird, man, because you got like this, every time you complete a piece, you got like this high, you got what I'm saying? Like this euphoria of like, and it's very, I don't know how to explain it, it's like momentary. Like, that's how you pronounce that shit?
Yeah, sorry, momentary, man, it's just for that one particular spot once you're done.
Yeah, it's very like momentary. It's like a quick high, like you complete a piece, bro, you stand back, you look at it. A lot of times, I don't know if this happens to other artists, like you look at it, you don't even know how the fuck it happened. You're like, oh shit, I just finished that. You got me? And then, but that shit dies out quick, dog. So it's on to the next one, you know.
So you want to pop off on the next one.
Yeah. So I like that. That definitely has me motivated. Like as far as like the murals go, like I just came back from Panama, and it's the same shit every time, man. Every time you go to like, I think in Miami we don't get as much of it. Yeah. Because everybody's so overwhelmed by like the amount of fucking visual stimulation we have here. Yeah. But especially when you go out to other countries, bro, even though like I think they might be like, I don't know, they might appreciate the shit more because they have less of it. So you see people like in the neighborhood thanking you, like, yo, it's like kids like straight up. Last time in Panama, it was dope. We got like hit up to go do some paintings out there. Yeah, it was in a pretty fucked up area. It was like, it's called Santana, next to El Chorrillo. Anybody from Panama knows El Chorrillo. Is like, yo, like people
that's a trap.
People that talk about the hood out here don't know shit about the hood. Like, yo, that's the fucking hood.
I tend to know every day. I hear that from everybody who's from Central America or South America. Like, ain't no hoods in it. Like, there's South American or Central American hoods.
Dog. Out here, like, you talking about the hood, you got an AC? Fuck out of here, dog. Nah, man, ain't no hood, bro.
Ain't the real hood.
Dog, like, that shit was bad out there. It was, so, one of the buildings that we painted, there was an empty lot next to it. Yeah. And I pulled up the car. I thought it was just some guy working the lot or whatever the fuck. He was working the lot, but he was living in the lot with his kid. Like, oh, okay. So his kid, like, yo, they were straight up like the kid had like a little fucking where is Miami shit. So he had like a little sauna on the floor and shit. Yeah. So fucking, and he had a pillow, he had a TV, like, you know, old school TVs plugged into the thing. He was straight up sleeping like on the floor, bro. No windows, no nothing. And his dad was sleeping a little further out. Yeah. Like on a bench. Yeah. That's and nuts. that shit was like, you know what I'm saying? Like when we talk about like poverty in this country, that's real shit.
Yeah, you don't realize that we're really blessed here. A lot of us have was first world country. Yeah. You have problems. You know what I'm saying? First world problems and shit. Like, come on, dog. You ain't never been to Haiti. You don't know what's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just popping out. You ain't been to like Central America, Honduras, whatever, Panama, Nicaragua.
That's
all
where
that shit.
You're from Guatemala, right?
Guatemala. That's I mean, the trap is that's one of the illest traps in the world is Guatemala. You know what I'm saying? So much white goes through there. You know what I'm saying? That gets a lot of killings in there. So how'd you end up here in Miami, bro? How'd you end up from Guatemala? How'd you end up in South Florida?
I don't know. I just trying to get something better. So I was trying to live in Chicago, but it was too cool. So
so you didn't like Chicago?
No, I don't like Chicago. It's too cool. So my auntie told me, yo, you gotta move to Miami. It's almost the same as Guatemala.
So how long you been in Miami?
I've been here like 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
All right. And what you been hustling on? What's your number one target right now in Miami?
Barbering.
Barbering?
Yeah. Like,
I heard that you've been cutting hair for a long ass time. How long you been cutting hair, man?
I've been cutting hair like 11 years.
I
started when my 11, so I'm 22 now.
Not to interrupt him, but this guy's a truth, dog. Like, yo, he's definitely like, he's mad shy and shit, so he's real quiet. But as far as barbering goes, he's fucking ill, man.
You like cutting hair?
Yeah, I like cutting hair.
What about cutting hair you like? What's the one thing that makes you want to do that all the time?
Well, basically because the haircut is pretty much of the designs is art. So when
you see it as an art form instead of as a job.
Yeah, that's art.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What about the hair cutting? What style of hair cutting you like the best?
Well, I like the low fade. High fade, blowout, designers, all that kind of stuff.
Damn, man.
Dog, you didn't let me finish where I was going with the story, bro.
Oh, my bad. You cut me off. I just started talking.
Chapman got the flow.
Chapman got the flow because you started talking about Guatemala, man. That's just crazy out there. So what happened? So you finished that portrait for the dude?
No. I wasn't even painting him, man. Like, we showed up and homie was there. Like, my bad, Chapman. We're going right. Nah. So the kid, like the little kid, ended up like kicking it with us all 3 days that we were painting. But I'm talking about like from sunrise to like 2-3 in the morning.
Yeah.
This 10-year-old kid just riding it out with us, bro.
Yeah.
And like that appreciation, that like wanting to like share the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it with the ill part, like the only reason I wanted to complete the story because like the beautiful thing that came of that is he ended up getting a scholarship.
What?
The
little kid?
The little kid, yeah, bro.
What do you mean a scholarship?
Like, yo, they put him through. So, like I said, we got flown out there by like an art university for like this project and shit. And like that was like a non-for-profit job, you know. We just did it for like for the culture. For they paid for like the paint, supplies, flight, whatever the fuck. But that like just to get this like, yo, this kid that's straight up like sleeping in the
street.
Yeah, me and the homie Dreps, we ended up talking to like the people from school, and we're like, yo, this kid has nothing, bro. Like he's straight up nothing, you know. And he's been out here painting with us, asking questions, holding ladders. So if there's anything that we could do for the kid, like, you know, what could we do? And the school was like, well, fuck it, you know, let's give him a like scholarship. You know, we put him through like, we'll give him 1 year in school, and depending on how he does, then if he does well, we keep riding with him, you know.
Yeah, that's what's up,
so
dog.
That's when you were asking me like what it was that motivated me, brought that kind of shit, like to see like, yo, you really make a difference in like communities, like, you know,
through art,
yeah, without a doubt, man. You motivate people
internationally. Where else have you traveled with the art? Where has art taken you?
I've painted in Bogota, Cartagena, that's Colombia. I painted in Buenos Aires, Panama, Puerto Rico, Ecuador.
Damn, so you've been pretty much all up and down South America and Central America, the Caribbean.
Moving.
Using the art.
Yeah.
Damn, that's what's up, dog. I mean,
gotta get to Europe next year.
That's what's up, yo. Yeah. You gotta try to get it to pop off. I like that you a dude from South Florida, you from Miami, and you got that shit, you know, you rep Miami wherever you go.
I got that shit tattooed on me, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
colors, bro.
It's cool seeing people from Miami or original Miami, like, you know what I'm saying, like fucking raised in this bitch, because it's like it's one of those things where Miami's growing, and as Miami grows, I feel the culture's growing, and I feel the people are growing with it. Like things are popping off that didn't used to pop off. Like art used to never pop off here, man. Yeah. Like back in the day, that was before Art Basel. I don't think people remember. There was nothing that was like, you know, Art Basel came here and like helped the art scene so much. But like in terms of like the street culture, there was really nothing before that. You know what I'm saying?
We had Luke, and we had like the music shit going.
Yeah, we had the music shit. Yeah. Luke put us on the map because of Playa Puteria. You know what I'm saying? Playa Puteria has always put Miami on the map. You know, there's plenty of Playa Puteria here. But at the same time, like, we're more than that here, bro. You know, we have culture, we have art, we have a badass food scene, we got some dope ass musicians, we got some badass artists. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You killing it with the haircuts, you killing it with the barber game. Like that's something that's so South Florida. The barber game is so South Florida. You know why? Because everybody in South Florida want to look good all the time, dog.
At all times, man. You gotta get a haircut once a week.
You gotta get a haircut once a week, once every other week. Yo, you go outside to Texas, they ain't getting no cuts every week, yo. You know what I'm saying? They might be getting a cut once every 3-4 weeks, maybe once a month. Nah, out here, everybody. How often what's your number one client? How often do you cut them?
Twice a week.
Twice a week?
Yeah.
You have a client that comes through twice a week to get a cut. So he stays fresh 24/7.
Fresh 24/7.
Look at that, dog. That's some straight on Miami shit right there, dog. Yeah. How many heads would you say that you're cutting right now?
I can say because it's a lot, but in one day I cut like 35.
Like 35 heads?
Yeah, just me.
Damn, son. You putting in work with that shit.
Dog, I walked into the barbershop, dog, and like, I know what day that was. I was like, everybody slipped at the shop. It was like one of those, like, what was that, like back to school or some shit?
Back to school.
Back to school day. This homie showed up. That's why I tell you, dog, I respect the fuck out of this guy, man. He's on that hustle shit. Like, you know, I seen some barbers, because I get my haircut at his shop and shit. So, I walked in, I seen some barbers talking about like, yo, you know, it ain't too good. And this homie's like, no, it's great, dog. Because he's there all the fucking time, you know?
Yeah.
24/7.
You working your ass off trying to cut that hair and trying to pop off. What barbershop you working at right now?
Southside Barber Shop in Coconut Grove.
In Coconut Grove. Where's that? Like on 27th Avenue?
Yeah, 27 up.
US 1. And US 1.
Yeah.
All right. Man, definitely. I gotta go out there and have you hook me up, dog.
Yeah,
my shit's not looking too good right now, but you know my shit's unique. You know what I'm saying? My shit's unique.
You got that Mr. T going on.
Yeah, I got that old school throwback mohawk. I like it. Yeah.
Really,
what do you say is the number one cut that people ask you for in South Florida?
Well, down in that shop, the low fade, they like a lot the low fade.
Low fade is number one.
Yeah, number one, and blowout second.
What do you like to do?
For me, I like everything about cut.
Which one is the one that you would like to do the most?
Low fade. That's my favorite one.
That's your favorite cut?
Yeah.
That's what's up. And how did you end up cutting hair? What is it that brought you to cutting? Like, you've been doing it your whole life. How did that happen?
Oh, well, I was looking for some toys and all the stuff, so I found a clipper, so I figured out it was working, so I just grabbed my little brother and started cutting his hair.
Yeah, that's how it started. In Guatemala?
Yeah, in Guatemala.
So, you're originally from Guatemala.
Yeah.
You try to find some toys when you was a little kid. How old were you when this happened?
11 years old.
So you're 11 years old when you first came up on some clippers.
Yeah.
You were just looking for toys and you found that these clippers worked. Yeah. So you thought that they were toys or did you know what they were at the time?
I know what it was.
But you were using it as a toy?
Yeah. No, I say like, well, let me try with my brother. So I just grabbed my 6 years old brother.
Okay. And you started cutting his hair.
Yeah, I started cutting his hair.
And what happened? How did it keep going? How did it keep progressing?
Well, I really like it. So I keep doing with my brothers. Then some
with my brothers.
Yeah.
Poor kids, dog.
Yeah, for real. So you were using your brothers as guinea pigs. How long did that last?
Like about 6 months. Then I started bringing my cousins, friends, all people from my
your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they would let you cut them up?
Yeah.
But for free, or were you charging at that point?
For free. Then I started charging like $3.
When did you start charging?
$5, like when I got like a years.
All right, so you practice on everybody around your neighborhood for 1 year.
Yeah. You got dope, started charging. That's how you do it, dog. That's that hustler shit.
That's what's up. And you started cutting. So you started charging for haircuts when you were 12 years old.
Yeah.
Then how old are you now?
22.
22. So you've been a professional barber for 10 years now.
Yeah.
Damn, you super young and you got that shit on point, man.
Yeah.
And how did you damn, that's a transferable skill. That shit works anywhere. So you started that in Guatemala. How did you end up coming to the States?
Well,
so you ended up here in the United States, and you ended up going to the first place you ended up was in Chicago?
Yeah.
All right.
Trappin', you mind if I share? Because he's like, dog, his homie cuts my hair pretty often, dog.
Yeah.
So he's told me a story. You mind if I share what it is? Do you care or no?
No.
Dog.
You can go.
This fucking homie, like, yo, I admire the fuck out of him because of that shit. Like, he straight up, what was it? You crossed the border like illegally or whatever.
All right.
While you were how old? 15?
Yeah, 16.
16. So he crossed the border from where? From Mexico to Texas, or
So
where?
you came from Guatemala by yourself all the way to Mexico and then into
how you do that,
States.
right? Well, I don't know. You did it through train, walking, how the fuck?
Train, walking,
Both.
both.
All right. All right.
Dog, so 16-year-old kid, dog, crossed the border on his own, like, you know, and dog, you seen like the videos of all the crazy shit that happens on there. Like, even you gotta worry about like the people, like you gotta worry about the law and you gotta worry about the bad guys. So the good guys and the bad guys are looking for you, you know. Well, and who's to say who's the good and bad?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
You know?
You don't know who the good guys are. You know who they say the good guys.
So you just know both teams are looking for you. So he crossed over, right?
Yeah.
And then what was that happening? Like you ended up getting like locked up or some shit, right?
Yeah, I was locked up for 6 or 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
he was locked up as a fucking minor in a fucking adult facility.
Oh damn! That was when you first and originally got here in the States.
Yeah.
And then they found out that you were an adult at that point.
Yeah.
Could you talk about that shit?
Yeah, we can talk.
All right.
So you were, once they found out that they made a mistakes, then they put you in juvenile facility.
No, they just sent me back to Guatemala.
Oh, they sent you back.
Yeah,
back?
they didn't know that I was a minor when I went to court.
Mm-hmm.
Like they figured out I was 16 years old, but they say like it's been too long, so they just sent me back. They didn't say nothing.
And then you came back?
Yeah, I came back.
I didn't know that. I
2 days. Yeah.
Stayed back the next day. Shit.
No, they sent me back, and then I came back like the next 3. I used to stay in Guatemala for 3 days, and then I came back.
So you did that traverse twice?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, bro. Shit, man. Hats off to your ass, dog. That shit is hard as fuck right there, bro. And then once you came back the second time, you came back to Chicago or you came back to Miami?
No, well, I was in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
They catch me again, but they figured out. So in that time, I was bringing my passport. So they saw I was 16 years old. So they put me in it's a place like for minor people who got no family here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Minors people. Yeah.
Yeah. So then they released you when you had what? You're like a DACA currently?
Yeah.
Damn, that's what's up, man. That DACA shit, dude, is so important. I express that to people all the time because they don't realize that's something that's really near and dear to us here in South Florida. You know what I'm saying? In South Florida,
for the most part, we're all immigrants. So
everybody's immigrants, bro.
Yeah,
you know, everybody's an immigrant. It don't matter how, like, you immigrated like maybe 100 years ago, but you was an immigrant originally. You know what I mean? So regardless of the fact, it doesn't matter. Like, unless you're a Native American, you was an immigrant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like in South Florida, it's like shitload of immigrants, dog. You know, like we run this.
Yo, we suck, basically. Dog, because we don't speak English right, we don't speak Spanish right, so we're like fucked in Miami.
We're a mixture, dog. It keeps us, but you know what? It keeps us like our own little culture.
Yeah,
something that you go like different parts of the country and you don't feel that sazon. You know, that flavor that you're like, damn, like. People over here in Miami, everybody, you hear Spanish everywhere you go, dog. Like, you don't barely need to know any English to survive. Yo, this true story. My mom has been here her whole life, dog. More than 35 years, and she barely speaks English, son.
I believe
you know what I'm saying? And, like, she doesn't need to. She's just like, she's been able to survive and more than survive, you know, in South Florida without the need of any English. But DACA is something that's been very near and dear to us here in South Florida, especially to Phresh because we're all about like Hispanics and about first generation people and about South Florida people. And South Florida, you know, you can't mention South Florida without Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? True. Yeah. And then you started cutting hair as soon as you came back from Nashville here to Miami.
Oh no, I stopped. I've been doing like house call, but I was working at a restaurant. I don't know why, but then I have a friend who worked a job who used to tell me, yo, you're really good. Why you don't work a job? You should work a job. Yeah. So I said, nah, because he's really good. I was seeing him. He's covering so many rapper people. Yeah. So I said, like, yo, I want to be good like you. When I'm good like you, I'm going to work a job. I say, no, you're already good. So then I jumped to a barber shop in Wynwood. Okay. I used to work there. So I met a friend there. But then he moved to Salsa Barber Shop.
Okay.
So my shop closed down by the time of Irma because the owner went to Orlando and they steal all the stuff.
Oh,
so
damn.
Yeah,
After the hurricane?
Sucks.
Yeah, but the Hurricane Irma, so they steal everything from the shop. So he gotta close the shop.
Damn, that's some shit right there. That's sad as fuck.
Yeah.
So then that's how you ended up at Southside, cutting hairs.
Yeah, I was starting doing some hair there, but I was keep going in that shop for about 2 days, 3 days a week. Yeah, but then they just closed down, so
yeah,
since Southside.
Damn, that's what's up, man.
Yeah,
that's a crazy ass story how you ended up here, bro. And you've been cutting hair since you 12 years old, professionally at least. So I'm assuming that your ass is on point right now. You know what I'm saying? And I know if Disem is certifying you, that you for sure cutting good hair. You know what I'm saying? Damn, that's something that I applaud you, man. I applaud everybody in South Florida who's working on their hustle. If people want to reach out to you and try to get a haircut, where can they reach out to you? You have a Twitter handle or Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, I got Instagram, pretty much Instagram.
What's your Instagram handle?
ManuelTEO 502.
So spell it out. Maybe if people don't know it, bro, because we're on podcast here.
Yeah, okay. ManuelTEO 502.
All right, TEO. And if people want to reach out to you, Disem, about your art, how can they reach out to you and learn a little bit more about your influence and your stuff?
Instagram.
What's your Instagram handle, bro?
Disem 305, DISEM, M as in mom, 305.
All right, Disem 305. That's what's up, man. I appreciate you guys stopping by Kewola, talking to us about your hustle, how you trying to get on top, and how you trying to get it to pop off. How you influencing South Florida culture through either your art or through your skills such as barbery. I appreciate that once again, you guys, and I'm gonna wrap this up. You guys be easy, bro.
Awesome, bro.
Awesome.
Right. Thanks, bro.
You reached the end of another episode of Que Bola podcast. I want to thank my guests Disem and Manuel for swinging through the offices and talking to us about South Florida culture and how they're popping off. I want to thank you for listening. If you would like, please subscribe to our podcast Que Bola on iTunes or Google Play. And check us out on our website, fresherfresh.com. That's fresh with an F and then fresh with a PH. Phresh or fresh.com. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Y cuídate. Hasta la próxima.